All right, guys, top of the morning. Happy October 2nd. Happy fall season. Happy October month and trick-or-treating and fall leaves and colors and decorating your house and all the spooky things that you guys are going to do. And cheers to your pumpkin spice lattes if that's what you're into. But I'll tell you what, you guys, fall season represents comfort. It represents warmth. And I love this time of year, not only because of the kids and the outfits and the costumes and the colors, but I believe that this time of year truly represents warmth. I think that it's a time of the year where the weather starts to change. We want to be close to the family. We want to put our sweaters on. It's just a cozy season. So I always think that this time of year represents warmth. It's a change. And so some of us live where it's really, really hot. It was a hot summer. And now we go into some cooler months, ability to be out there and do things that we might not have wanted to do because we didn't want to be outside, so on and so forth. So this time of year represents like this cozy, warm spirited time of year. So I'm really excited about the fall season. And also, this is grind season. Now, on one hand, we are, getting ready for the fall season. But on the other hand, this is planning, prepping, and preparing for 2025. And I want to challenge all of you guys right now as you're thinking about your goals for 2025. And mind you, next month, we are going to do our annual business planning. This is a traveling event that we'll do at multiple locations. And my encouragement is that you start now. My encouragement for everybody on the call is that you start now and start thinking about the 2.0 blessing, the 2.0 princess, the 2.0 Sarah. What does that actually look like in 2025? What did you guys learn in 2024? Who have you become, and who will you need to be to support the type of production that you plan to have in 2025? I want you to look at yourself and look in the mirror and say, what does 2.0 look like for me in 2025? I want to have a remarkable year. I want to make more money than I've ever had. I want to touch more lives. I want to travel more, and I want to open up more doors for me and for my family. So what does 2.0 look like? What type of systems do you need to have in place? What type of skills do you need to learn? What type of networks do you need to create? What type of rooms should you be in 2025 to help support that Gabrielle 2.0? And that's a message that I want to share with you guys. And the reason why I'm on this thread is because we're here at this event. We'll talk a little bit about that. But as a company, as Fast Real Estate, we're already looking ahead and saying, how can we be the best company that we've ever been in 2025? We're coming up on our 5th year anniversary. And to think about that and what's been able to be created in 5 short years, it's amazing. It's remarkable. There's so much heart and depth into it, but there's also been a lot of struggles, but also there's a lot of growth. The leader that I was in 2020 is vastly different than the leader I am in 2024 and will be in 2025. So I am learning, and I'm thinking, how can we take this company to a new level, new processes, new coaching, new thoughts on how we can help impact your lives, you guys. So as we as a company are looking at the road ahead, I want to encourage you guys to start now. Don't wait until we're sitting in the business plan session, be like, okay, tell me what to do with my plan, Elias. No, you should be having the framework. You should have all the bones. And then what I want to help you do is bring that all together. But it starts now. It starts with you going to your whiteboard, you go into your Asana, you guys go into your Trello board, whatever, keep taking notes, stickies, I don't care what it is. But you need to ask yourself, what does 2.0 in 2025 look like for you? And I want to encourage you guys to start that process now. So that's my thoughts, that's my sentiment. I'm going to have somebody bring us out on the field on this beautiful Wednesday morning. That person's going to be Princess. Princess, if you're a guest here on the call, we always have somebody bring us out on the field like we're walking out of the tunnel. Speaking of walking out of the tunnel, we'll talk about that in a moment. But Princess, if you can, bring the whole group out on the field on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Let's go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Today's midweek. I'm just sending out a sentiment to keep grinding. This is Q4, so we know what we need to put in place to hit our goals, and let's be consistent. Let's not be complacent, and let's just keep going.
Appreciate you. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you always dropping, game on us. You guys, we're here in Las Vegas, and what I want to encourage you guys to do is look at your budget for next year. And as you're working out your budget for the year, when you're saying, okay, this is what I want to make, but these are some of the things that I'd like to do. And ideally, I'd like to get to 2 to 5 events the next year. I want you to start budgeting that and thinking about, well, how does that look? And where do I need to be in my business in order for me to be able to take a trip. Now, listen, there's a lot of people that go to these trips and all they want to do is they want to ball out and they want to party and they want to drink. Now, mind you, you can do a little bit of that. But the idea is that you walk in these rooms and you come to these events with a purpose to say, you know what, I'm going to leave here better than when I walked in here. I want to meet some people that might be a part of my referral network. I want to get on somebody's podcast. I want to meet somebody that I've only met on social before and build a true bond with that person. And so I want to encourage you guys to get in these rooms and fill your cup next year. Fill your cup. And if you have some time this year to go to some events, EXPCon is right around the corner, you guys. It is one of the best ways to be exposed to how amazing EXP is and how important your influence is as a fast agent is in this organization. It is unreal the stock that you guys have as a fast agent, and you get to meet all these people from all over the world, you guys. Highly encourage you, if you can get the EXPCon, go this year. If not, start planning that out for 2025. So Vernon's here, and Vernon is here. I didn't know he was going to be on. We're here going to the conferences, but he stepped away for more. He hasn't stepped in yet to the event today. So Vernon, would love to hear from you, my man. This is his first official real estate conference. Would love to hear from you, your sentiment, your thoughts, any takeaways, anything you want to share with the group as we get started this morning.
Yeah, man. Thanks, E. You wanted to make sure that I stepped to the side to just be present with you in the space this morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'll echo what Elias is saying. If you have not, you need to get into these spaces. When it comes, I'm experiencing firsthand the stock that we hold as fast agents within this EXP world. Met some phenomenal people that I probably would have never met before, who are movers and shakers, decision makers. We probably read their names or follow them on Instagram. Well, they're here. And the fact that, when we speak that we're team fast, I don't even have to say brokered by EXP. Oh, I know, Kenny. I know, Elias. And so the stock that we have and the education and the access, the conversations that we become a part of simply by operating and being a part of this banner is amazing. Vegas is hot. It's 110 degrees out here. Okay. But the experiences that, I'm having an opportunity to just rub elbows with folks, bringing folks into our conversion clinic work, really talking about our group coaching and all the cool things that we're doing. We're really ahead of the curve here. So being at these spaces, and meeting these people and working with Zillow and learning about Follow Up Boss and expanding networks. We've got brokerages from Orlando and brokerages from Virginia and brokerages from Tampa now wanting to tap into our systems is a game changer. Fun, yes, but it's work, and that's what we're here for. So if you can't make it to EXPCon in Miami in a month or so, they're going to have it in Miami again in 2025. And so I would invite you to put that on your calendar because that's one that I will definitely be at. But if you, again, get into these spaces, get into these environments. Coach, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for opening the doors and introducing me to different people that I probably would have never experienced before. Zillow lays it out like you have no idea. At a massive party at the Allegiant at the Raiders Stadium on the field last night, talking about running out the tunnel. I'm sure you'll see some footage of Elias doing his Ray Lewis impression. Running out the tunnel last night. But good to be back. Good to see everyone. I'm glad to be able to contribute in some capacity or another. And that's what I got, Coach.
I love it. I appreciate it. And you guys you got to think about it. There's people in this environment that are receiving more leads than us, that have bigger teams than us. And so it's about really saying, well, what are you doing that's working and how can we tap into what you're doing? And what's cool about these spaces is that everyone's willing to give, right? And we're here to give. If somebody wants to pick my brain, then I'm down to hop on a call with them. But we're also here to find out who's doing it better than us and how can we. Hey, Luis, this is the second time you've done that, bro. Can you keep yourself on mute? Luis. Hold on, let me mute him. All right, let's just keep him on mute. Anyways, it's an opportunity for us to build relationships. And so let's talk about two things that should be a non-negotiable for you guys right now and as you move into the new year. First and foremost, every single person on this call, I don't care if you've sold one home or if you've sold 100 homes. Everybody has to have a very, very strong Zillow profile. And the reason why this is important is because Zillow is working at enhancing all of the profiles. So when a consumer goes online and they're looking for an agent in, say, Concord or Brentwood, well, when you go onto the profile right now, it's been very, very rudimentary. It's been very old school. It's just a bunch of text. Well, now it's going to be more personalized based on your branding and who you are. What's great about that is that Zillow is going to help to build your own brand based on what's on your profile. You'll be able to have your intro video. So say you're Mel, say you're Sarah, say you're Destiny, whoever you are on the call. If you have the ability to have a video that allows people to see who you are. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Elias, Astuto. I'm so excited to be working with you. I've been able to serve 100 families in the entire Bay Area for the last 3 years, and I'm looking forward to working with you and sharing with you how I can help you and be an advocate throughout this entire buying and selling process. So I just want to put a face to the name, looking forward to connecting with you. A video like that is going to separate you from somebody that just has this old ass bio and doesn't really showcase who they are as a person, but you have a responsibility. Now, as a company, we'll help you build that profile out so you have something that is even more robust, but I want to encourage you guys, take a deep dive into your own Zillow profile right now and ask yourself this question. If I was a consumer, would I choose me based on the information that I just read on my profile? Ask yourself that. Right? Is there anything on there? Is there any type of bio, any writing? Is it a cool picture of yourself? Or is it an old ass picture that doesn't even look at you? You guys, Zillow is the largest data company on earth when it comes to housing information. The Zillow is not just a place where people go to search for homes. Zillow is a lead capture company and a data company. They are the best in the industry. So I want you guys to focus on that. Number two, I want you guys to make sure that you are getting into the habit of doing everything through Follow Up Boss. And the reason why Follow Up Boss is going to, obviously it's owned by Zillow. And the integration with Follow Up Boss moving forward is going to allow you guys to really inspect your own performance. If you're on the Flex team, which not everyone on this call is, so we won't talk a lot about that. But in the future, all those calls are now going to come from Zillow directly into your Follow-Up Boss. Every single time you receive a call, all of those calls then give you back a summary so you can see how well you're performing on that call. Plus, we have the utilization of Shiloh. So I'll tell you this, you guys, if the 2.0 for you is leveling up your sales skills, it's leveling up the way that you convert, having better dialogue and better consumer interactions, and you're committed to that, well, I tell you what, come to me with the data. Say, Elias, I got all these calls. Let's just dive in, and I promise you this, we will find nuances that will make you better. It'll make you better. But if you're not doing it and you're just winging and you're having an ego and you're saying, no, I'm really, really good on the phones, but you look at your actual conversion that's at 2%, maybe you're not as good as you thought you were. So it's an opportunity. If 2.0 is a goal for you and you really want to say, I'm going to take my game to the next level, then you have to say, how can I truly, truly get a body of work for me, for my coach, for other coaches to be able to analyze? Everything should funnel through Follow Up Boss. You guys will be able to hear how well you negotiate, how well you open up conversations, when you ask for open-ended questions. You guys, it's going to be the biggest library and catalog into yourself that you've ever had. So those are two things right now as you're moving forward that should be a non-negotiable. Get your Zillow profile up and running if it's not there, and enhance that. And number two, make sure everything that you're doing is going through your Follow-Up Boss. Now, before we get started, does anybody have any thoughts, any questions, any contributions before we continue on with coaching this morning? Anything? Nobody wants to know about my pass in the end zone? Okay.
I want to know how sick your hotel room is.
Oh, it's pretty cool. It's just there's like a kitchen area here and then the bed there. It's not that sick, but I think
I want
Vernon's
to see the Ray Lewis entry.
All right,
Is that going to be on IG?
Well,
Yeah,
we have tons of content coming. We brought Patrick out, but you guys, to be able to be at this event and for them to say we have a private party on the field at the new Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play, and we actually get to run out of the tunnel where the teams run out of the tunnel. And then you get to go in the end zone. You get to throw passes. They had a band there. The whole place was shut down just for people at the Zillow Unlock conference.
Yeah.
mind-blowing to think that these are the types of opportunities that we get by putting ourselves in these rooms, you guys. So relationship rich, get yourself to events like this, expose yourself to events like this. And I promise you, like, we have so many opportunities. We have so much freedoms in this business to do stuff like this. Like, what? Like, I'm beyond grateful. It's every man's dream to throw a end zone pass or a touchdown in the end zone at a NFL stadium. But anyways, Blessing, you had your hand up, and then we'll shift gears.
Really quick about the Zillow being able to build our profile based on the videos. Is that something that we post in our profile, or is it just something if we have part of our cadence, like how are they getting that information?
Yeah, so you'll be able to post directly on that profile. So if you don't have one yet, make sure that you have an intro video, right? And it's nothing too long. It's something that's loose. It's something that shares just who you are as an amazing human, Blessing. But yeah, absolutely. What's going to happen is the profiles are going to look more like your personal branding. That's the goal.
Okay.
So the goal is to help you guys. And then, they have all kinds of other tools and stuff that's rolling out, but we won't talk too much about that. But yeah, create yourself a video. And then if you don't know how to do it, I'll kind of walk you through that. And we'll probably do a training on it as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's do this, you guys. There was a cool report that was shared yesterday. And I thought that since it's Wednesday, we talk about the market. What I wanted to do is I wanted to share with you guys some insights about consumer behavior right now, because I know since the settlement came down, people have different thoughts, ideas, and misconceptions. Now, we can all speculate, but what we need to do is we need to look at the raw data. And what Zillow does a really good job at is they do a really good job at sharing all of the data that they get from their consumers. And how do they get it? Well, they survey consumers and they ask them. So what they have is they have these huge data sources from all of the buyers and sellers that, participated in the survey. And so they did a 2024 consumer housing trend, and they addressed these topics. Who wants an agent? How do buyers and sellers find their agents right now? Commissions, and how do buyers and sellers feel? Because I know that we're still, we're still struggling, not struggling, we're just growing through that, right? How does that sound like? What does that feel like? Top qualities in an agent, what buyers and sellers want in the transaction, and how buyers and sellers want to communicate with their agent, being you. And here's what they found. There was over 12,000 people that participated in this survey that bought and sold a home this year. 89% of sellers said that consumers who are using an agent is actually up. This year alone, based on the survey, 85% of the people that purchased a home used an agent. 85%, and 89% of consumers used an agent. So when we think about, well, shit, the August 17th came out, doom and gloom, realtors are no longer needed, the tech companies are going to take over. We have heard that story over and over again in our industry. In 2005, the industry got super scared because Zillow came onto the scene. And when Zillow came onto the scene, the agent said, oh, here goes that company with all that money. They're just going to take our job and give the consumers all of the information, right? And they don't need us anymore. Well, how did that pan out for us? Well, it never panned out for Zillow because Zillow would be its own brokerage. And instead, Zillow is partnering with you. They're partnering with us. And so what we realized through this trend is that the consumer data is telling us that they need you more than they've ever needed you before. And the numbers are going up and going up. And so that is a very promising thing for you guys to understand, learn, and just listen to this. First up, who needs a buyer's agent? 84% of first-time home buyers said that they needed an agent. How would they go about this without you? Right? I want you to realize that. Think about everything that you do for your consumer from start to finish. How would they go through this without you? Right? Would they try to hire a lawyer that's not going to represent them, that's not going to negotiate, that doesn't understand the nuances, the market trends, so on and so forth? They don't build relationships. All they do is make sure that you have amazing paperwork, when that is all good and well. But heck, you guys have been trained to do great paperwork as well. But on top of that, you have the negotiation skills, the relationship skills, and the network of people that's going to separate you from any other brokerage in the industry. 86% of repeat buyers, and let me repeat that, repeat buyers, people that have already bought a home, said that they still need an agent. Why? Because they want to cover their ass. They don't know what needs to be disclosed, what's changed. Is this the right offer? How do I pull the data? What's sold? Is this right? All those things. Even repeat buyers, that number was higher than first-time buyers, which I found that to be absolutely amazing. So this is really good news for you guys. How are they finding us? When you look at this, overall, we love to have referrals, right? Well, only 1 in 5 out of the sales that were made from the surveyed people found their agent through a referral, 1 in 5. A third of the buyers say they found their agent online. I want you guys today to do a Google search of yourself. And I want you to see how easy is it for me to find information about myself? How well am I viewed online? How easy am I to find? And yes, I'm going to say it again. If you have no social platform, if you have no ability for someone to see, like, what is it actually like to work with the Trinity? What's it like to work with an Andrea? If they can't see your voice, if they can't hear your or see your face or hear your voice, why would they choose you? Why would they choose you? Because you wrote something that was really compelling versus the next person. I don't care, despite how long they've been in the business. They have a robust catalog of videos. They are constantly sharing tips and tricks and their kids and their trips and their kayaking and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, that's a human being that also knows a ton about real estate. That's somebody that I'm probably going to want to work with versus the person that has nothing. So your online presence is going to matter more than it ever has. So the lowest converting types of prospecting right now or marketing is obviously direct mail. Direct mail, you're probably going to look at a 0.5% return on that. Now, if you've been working your farm for years and you're finally harvested, then wonderful. That's great. That's coming to fruition. But some of you don't have that history of farming. And so direct mail, if you think, oh, I'm just going to mail out flyers and cross my fingers and hopefully I get a call. Well, that call may never come. That call may never come, and you spent tons of hours designing this cool flyer, and you bought the jumbo size postcard, and you cross your fingers, and it's been 45 days and no one's hit your line. It is the lowest converting, that in newspapers, but we're obviously not putting stuff in newspapers anymore. But I want to share with you. I have a ton of more notes, but before I go any further, any questions, any thoughts, any contributions thus far on the conversation? Let's go, Ashley. Ashley, you had something.
So a few days ago, I went to go make sure that I introduced myself to a bunch of agents. I was just going to go text them just to make sure people had my phone number. It is remarkable the amount of agents that it's really hard to contact you. It's like there's a contact me button, and then you have to go to a website, and then you have to fill out a form. If I'm a consumer, I'm not doing all that. I'll just skip out and go find another agent that has their cell phone number easy to access. There's just so many agents. And I was realizing as I was going through, I'm like, this is our consumers are going through. They're not going to take the time to fill out that form. So put your cell phone number in your bio.
I mean, okay, as simple as that is, you guys, here's what we need to remove from a consumer. We need to remove any type of friction. You want to have a meeting with me? Here's my calendar link. Just pick a day that works for you. You want to give me a call? My number's in my bio. Like, remove the friction. It shouldn't be hard for me to book an appointment with Gabrielle right now. Gabrielle, I heard you're a great realtor. Oh, just go to my bio. My calendar's there. Oh, perfect. I booked a time for tomorrow too. Wonderful. I look forward to meeting with you. And in that calendar link, there's 5 questions that I want you to ask to better prepare for our meeting tomorrow. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Like, it is just so simple. It removed all the friction. Right? How does tomorrow work? That doesn't work. How about the next day? That doesn't work. Like, just make it easy for consumers, right? Think about everything that a consumer is going through right now. When they're thinking about purchasing a house, they're full of emotion. They're full of anxiety. They're full of unknowns. They're full of curiosity. And here they are, they meet you, and you're this beacon, and you're this light, and you're the compass for them. And you removed any type of friction. You made this stress-free. That's a skill. That's a skill, you guys. Let's go to Sarah. And Sarah, good to see you. Thanks for being on. I appreciate you being
Hi,
here.
Elias. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me come.
Yeah, you're always welcome to come. What's up?
Thank
What's your
you.
contribution?
I just wanted to ask your opinion about the Facebook ads.
Yeah, my opinion on Facebook ads is that there's a lot of leads that you'll get, but I think that your conversion will be super low. Anybody on the call that has launched Facebook leads, please feel free to answer that question if it's been effective for you. But it's not something that we focused on as a company. It's not something that I've done personally, and I will assume that your conversion rate will be somewhere from a 0.5 to maybe a 2% if you're lucky. So I just don't know if that's the best use of your marketing dollars, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So probably not the best person to ask that, but let's see what we have in the room. Patrick, you had your hand up. Let's hear from you.
Yeah. Good morning, guys. I actually dabbled in Facebook ads. For the past 5 years, I was actually doing Facebook social media marketing for a couple of companies. Now, in relation to, I tried it out with real estate as well. I found out that it works really well towards sellers, right? Expired listings and all that. You get a lot of those. However, the trick is if you're specifying, if you have a specific neighborhood you're trying to focus on, it's going to be really hard because it's a 15-mile radius minimum on the Facebook ads. So you'll have to build up a continuous kind of system, funnel for about, I'd say 2 months, or maybe even just a month, really, in order to pinpoint that data and to really just feed into the CRM that you have. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And Sarah, hopefully that it kind of addressed some of your questions around this. Anybody else have any luck on Facebook ads? Please raise your hand and we'll move on. If not, but Sarah, really good question. Are you part of our fast forward movement, Sarah? Oh, I got it.
I do come to the Monday fast forward meeting. I don't know, is that the one?
All right, so yeah, totally. If you're in fast forward movement, there is a guides guide there, and you can go back and just search for Facebook ads. I know there's somebody on there that has launched a mastermind on this, and I'm sure that there's some good stuff and good takeaways. Something we haven't done as a company. I don't know anybody on the team that's doing it right now, doing it at scale and has been effective.
Also, just real quick too.
Thank you.
If you're gonna do the Facebook ads, make sure you have a good follow through because then the leads, 3 seconds, 5 seconds tops, or you lost them. So you need to have a follower ready. You need to have an email ready, automated. That follow through is very important if you're gonna tackle social media ads. Just that a little bit.
Got it. Thank you.
That's really good. And Sarah, this is great. And I'll build on that. If you are going to do this, you have to have a structure, just like any lead capture. So you probably will get a lot of leads, but you have to be able to decipher, how can I help these leads? Where do they go? Are they in my database? What type of nurture system do I have on them immediately? So if you are going to go that route and you're going to analyze that and you're going to see if that works for you, first off, you have to build a structure. And that structure is going to say, once I have that lead source, whatever it is, I'm putting them into the structure that's built, because if that structure is not built, your conversion is going to be non-existent. All right, so I saw another hand up. Andrea, let's go to you really quick.
Oh, I think Patrick answered a bunch of stuff, but I was playing with Facebook ads for probably the first month or two, but I didn't see a lot of good lead conversion, even funneling right into what I was using KV Core. It's just, I feel like he hit the spot on. It's like, if you don't hit those leads immediately because they're browsing on a platform at that time, you really lost that lead, right? Because if you come after, they've either found something else or they really weren't really interested in the first place. They just wanted more information, or they were kind of curious or something like that. And you don't really go anywhere with those conversations. So interested that he said those comments.
Yeah. What's that? Is that a no, bro? That's a green drink. That's a green drink, Bernie. You have to question in the chat.
Elias, I'm gonna kick your ass, Elias.
That's a green drink. Purity.
All right.
Purity. Anyways, we'll talk about that in a second. So let's go back to this consumer report. My agent's commission was fair. 73% of sellers said that their realtor's commission was fair, and 70% of the consumers that were asked said that the buyer's commission was fair. I want to ask you guys, what are the top qualities that buyers and sellers are looking for? No, actually, let's take this on a different conversation. Let's say, what are the top qualities that sellers are looking for right now? What do you think the top thing that they are looking for in a realtor to represent them? Go ahead and take yourself off of mute. We'll just have a free-for-all on this one. What do you believe is the number one, the highest thing that they want out of their realtor?
I think it's speed. I think it's the confidence showing up, you know, knowing that you're going to get the job done. It's a lot in your NLP. Like, when we put the house on the market, here's what's going to happen. When we do the marketing, here's how we're going to do it. Once we put the house on the market, here's what that's going to look like. Here's the next steps. You know, just really speaking to them like you already have it, like you already know you're going to get it, and moving forward with that confidence. And then really just like how I'm getting my listings right now is just speed. Like, listen, you know, I'm not interested in just getting a sign outside of your front door and putting a lockbox on it and letting it sit on the market for a long period of time. I'm in the business of getting homes sold and putting money back in people's pockets and moving on to the next thing. So I think, you know, moving with that verbiage, moving with that confidence, and then having like a plan of action, right? That coupled with like the state of the art marketing, showing up with something really cool like an iPad, I think is like really just showing that you're very innovative, you're in front of the newest tech, you're in front of that technology, you're utilizing all of the things, because there's a lot of agents right now that are very old school, they're very traditional, they're very stuck in their ways, and they're just showing up with their little CMA and their listing presentation, you know, and doing kind of that hard sales tactic with like the Mike Ferry script or the Tom Ferry scripts. And I just think like consumers are really, really smart right now. And we're in a different age and time where that hard selling just doesn't work with people anymore. Like, the phonier you are, it just doesn't work, you know? So, you know, speed, confidence, and technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, you guys, it's all right to be a closer, right? If you're going to a listing appointment, they're asking you to sell their property. And if you can't display that you are an actual closer, then why would they choose you, right? You're not there to just bring some information and loosely put their information out there into the world. And hopefully we get some offers and then we'll negotiate. That's not your goal. They're hiring you to what? Sell the home. So you have to be a closer also, but being a closer is super tactful. And here's what the consumer said. 80% of consumers say trustworthiness was the number one thing. 80% of them, trustworthiness and responsiveness, right? Do I trust this person? Can I vibe with this person? Can I connect with this person? Also, when I viewed your shit online, did I get a sense of how much I trusted you and could connect with you prior to even meeting you at my home, right? Was there a video? Was there something that you did with your consumers? Hey, I want to share this video with me. This is Ann and Tom. I was able to help them sell their home last month, but here's a little bit about, you know, their takeaways from working with me, or whatever that looks like, right? Can they trust you? And responsiveness, speed, speed, speed. And I'm so glad that you said that, Mel. The second top category was a tie, was a positive reputation, right? What are people saying about you? And if you have people that you've worked with, or you have people that know you, like, this is your opportunity to really, really build. And when you're going out to events, when you're shaking hands, when you're taking pictures, there needs to have this image that you are really, really liked, and people, you know, enjoy your company. You have a really positive relationship in the real estate community. And, you know, the things like Damian's doing at the you know, food bank, those are things that are building your reputation within your community. They also said neighborhood specific knowledge. Now, here's the great thing about being a fast agent. You have so much intel from all over the Bay Area and beyond. Now, you leverage that to give your consumers an advantage when you're sitting at that table, to share with them that I just don't only know what this market is doing, I know what the market is doing in the Bay Area. And most of the times we know where the consumers are coming from. So we understand the Bay Area market on all levels, not just this area. But let's talk specifics about this neighborhood. If you don't understand the last 6 months, the last 30 days, the last week, what's happening, who's coming, who's building, all these things, you guys, now what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself at a disadvantage. You guys got to come correct with your area knowledge. You have to do your homework. You have to drive around. You have to know those neighborhoods. So when you sit down at the table, you guys have so much advantages. Also, go and view properties that are the same floor plan, right? This house was built in 74, similar builder. They build about 100 houses in this area. I went and toured a house a couple of weeks ago down on 123, 127, 128, similar floor plan with the sunken, is your bath, yeah, okay, perfect. Like give them a sense like, you know, this floor plan, because why? Because you've seen it. You've studied the builders and you've studied the houses that are in that market. That gives you an advantage. 74% want strong sales history. Now, mind you, some of you might not have that sales history, but it's okay. You know who does? Our team. Our team has more sales knowledge for you guys to leverage on than any other team in the Bay Area. So if you don't have the extensive sales background and the portfolio, we do. And that's the time when you have to look at your presentation and say, okay, I might not have that, but my team sure does. There's nobody more equipped in the Bay Area to help with asset management than Team Fast. Why? Because we've sold over $2.5 billion worth of real estate since 2020. In every single market, despite market conditions, our team has always been able to find a way to win and negotiate the hardest on the behalf of our sellers and buyers. Nobody else has that advantage like you guys do. So when you don't have the sales experience, leverage the company sales stats. And Sarah, I'll come to your question. Let's go to your question right now. Sarah, you had your hand up.
Oh, I just wanted to agree with you and the first person that spoke, I didn't get her name. The quality service, yeah, and expectation, speed responding, yep.
Very cool, very cool. All right, what services do buyers value from their agent? And buyers said that 58% of them value the deciding the details of their offer. Here's what I love about this. We know that data, that consumers are saying that one of the most valuable things that they look to from you guys is that your ability to help them decide how to write the offer. I don't think that I've really seen that video, or maybe I have, but think about this in the context of one of the main concerns that you're going to have as a buyer right now is deciding on what to offer, right? And here's my 3-step process to make sure I'm delivering all the material facts so you and I can decide what is the best offer amount based on the conditions and the market, right? Wow. I go through disclosures. I review all the reports. I also look at all of the data that is supporting from the sales, also pending, and I bring all that information to you, and then we decide what our best offer amount is going to be. I'm going to walk you through that process to make sure that you are confident and that we're going to write an offer that wins. Give me a high five, Tom. That's the type of language that you guys need to have with your consumers, because they are saying that 58% of those people decide in the details of their offer. 56% of the people say organizing and submitting paperwork. How can you right now, how can you help them create something that is super organized? You think you get overwhelmed when you're in transaction? How many of you may miss an email once in a while? Some people call it a CDA. Some people call it a CD. You're getting all these emails. You're getting emails from the lender. You're getting emails from the consumer. You're getting emails from escrow. Oh my God, it is fucking confusing. And then you take somebody that has never done this before. And Roger and Mary are trying to organize all of this stuff. How are you preparing them for what's to come in this next 30 days? How are you doing that? How are you setting the stage? Tom and Mary, before we get started, before we submit, what I want you guys to do is I want you to create a Dropbox file. In that Dropbox file, I want you guys to put your proof of funds. I want you to put your W-2s. I want you to put your tax information. I want you to put copies of your driver's license. And I want that to be ready to go. And we're going to leverage that every time that we have to submit an offer. I don't need you guys pulling that from different places. It's all in one ready to go file to make it super, super easy for you. When we communicate and when we are in escrow, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to my transaction coordinator. That person is the liaison of communication throughout this entire process to make it very easy and to help you organize all the emails that you guys are going to be getting, because you're going to be getting a ton. So I just want to make sure that you know what the road ahead looks like, right? So it's like, how are we, based on what is important to them, helping them understand all of the paperwork that's going to be coming, and how are we helping them organize that? And check this out. If you're not organized with your paperwork, how the fuck are you going to help them organize their paperwork? If you're still scrambling and you don't know, oh my God, and I'm missing stuff, and you feel like you're frantic when you're getting all the emails, that means that you don't have a structure that supports that. So then how the heck are you going to go advise somebody else to do something that you're not doing yourself? So think about that. Cool thing about Zillow, in the coming months, in the coming year, everything will be housed in the Zillow app. And here's what's cool about this. Not everyone's on Zillow, so I won't stay too long on this. So a consumer calls in, that recording is recorded, and then all of the communication is held in the app, closing in the app, closing docs in the app. So all they have to do is be able to have one app with all their communication. No longer are they going to be getting tons and tons of emails. Fucking mind blown. Mind blown how easy it's going to make it for the consumer. But think about Zillow, how they're ahead of that. Why can't you as an individual say right now, how can I make things better for my consumer? And how can I give them a forecast of what to expect when we're in escrow? How can I help them prioritize and organize prior to even getting there? That's a huge selling point for you guys. That is huge, because I promise you, the majority of agents aren't out there, but you're not the majority. You guys are not the majority. You are champions. You're on a championship team. So this is something that can elevate you. Communicate. 4 in 10 consumers prefer text communication, and 1/3 of the buyers prefer a phone call. You just have to think about who your consumers are, what age demographic they fall in, and then simply ask that question, right? I don't think we ask that question enough. If you're sending too many emails, they might lose some emails, but can you just ask them, what is the best way that you like to communicate? We understand that a lot of people like to communicate via text, but how would you like to communicate? Does text work for you? Important details will be in emails, but day-to-day communication, we're going to do that via text. Does that work for you? Cool. Or just simply ask them, what is the best way that you like to communicate and receive information? Because at the end of the day, we are their partners. We are their support system. We are their trusted guide, their beacon, their lighthouse. And that's what we need to do for them. And so that was I literally sat in a session yesterday. I was, obviously I'm supposed to be at the event right now, but I'm like, I think that I'm not going to cancel coaching this morning. I was traveling on Monday. I wanted to bring this to you guys while it's fresh. We're obviously going to be diving into more because we're going to learn more, but I wanted to bring that information to you and just give you guys my vantage point, because you're not able to be here. We're here and spending the money to be here. So I just wanted to bring that to you while it was fresh and while it was hot off the press. So let's go, Mel, you got a hand up.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, with the trust aspect of things, it was just the sellers that voted that trust was 80%. And
Correct.
then the buyers didn't have any comment on the trust.
No, that portion of it was for sellers, and maybe I missed that in that, but I do know that in this year, 85% of people that bought 85% of buyers said that they needed an agent. So that number's going up, but I do believe that trustworthiness definitely falls into the buyers. But for the buyers, I believe that for them, helping them understand how to write their offer and explaining to them the process, I think that would probably be at the highest on the list.
I would be interested in having a call that really focused on how do you build that trust with the consumer and earn the business and convert. Because I think that it does relate to the buyers as well. And before you even advise them on how to write the offer, before you even advise them on, how to schedule or organize their paperwork, I think the buyers, they're definitely out there, and we're getting them a lot more now that rates are down, and trust probably is a big factor for them as well in order to pick their agent. So I'm very curious, like, how are top agents able to build that trust and doing it quickly and being able to move on to the next phase of things, which could be speed or the paperwork or the Dropbox link or whatever. But if it's like 85% of sellers are basing who they're choosing off of trust, then buyers are probably right around that same mark as well. And I think that's like a big thing that we shouldn't overlook as agents. Like, we should really learn how to master that at a high level.
Yeah, I agree. I think also there's some unspoken when it comes to trust. When you sit down and meet with somebody, first off, did that person do exactly what they said they were going to do? Tom, I'm going to call you for our buyer's consultation at 8 o'clock. Did you call them right at 7:59? When you said you're going to send that email as soon as we're done with this call, did they receive that email right then? And say, hey, I'm going to give you updates immediately. I'm going to see a house that you like, and I'm going to call you. Like, you have to start small when you're communicating with a consumer, because they're going to start to feel like, well, I like you. And how much of you are you sharing with them? How much of you can they see prior to even working with you? Right now, I can go to your social media and I know that you have a husband. I know you have a son. I know that you're growing. I know you have knowledge about the industry. That in itself is going to allow somebody to start to trust you and like you and feel a connection with you prior to even working with you as a buyer's agent. And now while you're here, here's a couple things that I'm going to do for you. And here's what I'm going to do as promised. Tom, you remember how I said I was going to get that document to you? Here's that document as promised. I'm calling you at 7:59 when I told you I'd call you at 8. So it's like little small things that you're going to do are going to ultimately build this hierarchy, body of trust. And that's going to, you all know how to do that. You all know how to break someone down in a good way by asking them really good questions, bringing them close to the heart, having some business intimacy with them to allow them to see, this is somebody that I can trust. Is trust, let me ask you, Mel, is trust an intuition?
Can you elaborate?
Do you feel that you can trust somebody until they give you a reason not to trust you?
No.
Is trust given, or is trust earned from the moment you meet a stranger?
Earned, for sure.
Earned.
It's earned. Okay. All right. So now stay with me on this thread. So if it's earned as a realtor, the responsibility is, how can I get somebody to start trusting me ahead of time? Right. And every single thing that I do during this interaction, I follow through on everything, every single thing that I do. Wow, she said she'd call there. There goes one in the bucket. That's trust. She said that she was going to do this. There goes another one in the bucket. Wow. And here's another thing in the bucket. Wow. We really trust Mel because nothing that she has said, she has not committed and followed through on. Right. So I think that we build that and we build that and we build that to where the only way that that trust is broken is when you don't follow through on the things that you said that you were going to do for them. So don't think of trust as this big giant, it's small little things that you're putting into the bucket, where finally you say, you know what, my guard is down and I'm fully putting my trust in your hands. Here it goes, Mel, and don't fuck it up. Right? It's just like in our relationships.
And the way that I think about it is that, pretend like your phone rings. It's a Zillow lead. It's a buyer. They want to go see 123 Banana Street, right? How do you create those moments of trust throughout that call, right? Because they might not give you an opportunity to even build the trust. How do you innately know how to create those moments of trust? Like, okay, let me ask you some great questions. And then here's what I'm going to do next. And here's what I'm going to do next. And here are the next steps, right? And then creating those moments of trust, that's really, really important, instead of letting them kind of lead the conversation. Oh, well, I was just looking. Oh, okay, cool. Did you have any questions? No, not really. Okay, thanks. Bye. Like they're not always going to give you that in to create that trust and to earn that business. You almost need to like set that platform up and execute on it. And I might be thinking about this way too deep right now, which I know I am, but I think it's important to realize that when we're on these calls, when we're at these open houses, when we're face to face with the consumer, how are we going to create those moments of trust? How can we earn that business? How can we show them who we really are as people so that they can trust us? Because the average agent probably isn't like even intelligent enough to be aware that they need to do that, right? And that's why most agents
I don't think it's done on the first call. I think that they're giving you a little bit. They're like, okay, I'll give her a little bit, right? It's like a proving ground, right? Prove yourself worthy of working with me and my family, right? You proved yourself, you prove yourself again, you prove yourself again, and then we turned a curve and I just trust you and I want to work with you. Right. So I think it's not established all in the one call, like, oh, you know me, you trust me, you like me, and we want to work with me. No, I drop something in the bucket and then I'm going to build on that and drop it again in the bucket. And now you hit a point where they say, Mel, it's in your hands. We trust you. Trust you. You think we should write this on the offer? When a client says, Mel, what do you think we should write on this offer? You know that you've crossed the threshold of trust. Because they trust in you enough to say, this is $750,000. Mel, what would you do? What would you do? Right? So you're dropping buckets or dimes in the bucket until finally you've created something that says trust. We can go further into this conversation. I don't think that it's enough on this call. However, trust is built step by step, not in an initial call. But what you can do is you can establish the framework of trust. Mel, really had a great conversation with you. Let's get together at 2 tomorrow for coffee. I would love to learn a little bit more about you. You and I meet for a coaching session. Tell me a little bit more, a little bit more. Then I follow up with some things that I think will help you. Wonderful. And then I follow back up with you the next week. How did that go for you, right? I know you're a little apprehensive about that, but you implemented those 2 things. How did you feel about that? What was the result? Well, I did that. Wonderful. Let's go to the next layer, right? So what I'm doing with you is that I'm building some trust. Then over time, you can trust me as your coach. It's you're dropping it in the bucket. You're dropping it in the bucket. So good stuff. Let's go, Christina, and then we'll go Damian, and then I am going to get downstairs. So Christina, and then Damian.
I just had a quick question. So, you know, when you're first meeting someone and then you feel like a connection. So how do you know when you've got that trust? Is it the way that they talk to you? Or I'm just learning these new like body language and word choice that I think feels that the trust is there now, but I just don't want to jump the gun and assume. But you know, they're saying things like, well, I talked to another person and he just wasn't the right fit. We loved you and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. How do you know when that moment is right?
So that's all you need to know in that moment, because here's the thing. You need to trust vibrations. In the 60s, people talked a lot about energy and vibrations. You need to trust that if there's this vibe and this energy that they connect with. Sometimes you just feel it from a person. Like, there's something about you, Andrea, that I really, really like. I feel like our energy is meshing, and that's super important to a lot of people. Now, if that's the baseline for Christina, we just got a really good feeling about you. Wonderful. That's step 1. The next step is you build on that. Wonderful. Hey, Tom, remember I told you I'd get you that document? Here it is. Remember I told you I'd call you? Here it is. I got some information for you. I want you guys to make sure that you have. Let's get on a call. More trust, more trust. So you build off that chemistry, right? Chemistry. And then you just start depositing. And then overall, you're creating this body of trust. And it takes time. But if the energy is there and the connection is there and the chemistry is there from the get, that's a really, really good sign. Just build off of that, Christina. Don't think too much into it. If they say they like you, they get a good feeling about you. We've all met somebody, we've all dated somebody, and it just felt really right. Well, until that trust was broken, that relationship was good. So I want you guys to focus on that. Like, let me just build and build and build and do everything I can to protect their trust by always following through on everything that I said I'm going to follow through on. Good stuff, Christina. Let's go deep Bledsoe, and then we'll wrap sesh.
Oh, I know I don't have much time, but work until it works. In regards to rapport building and all that, I just met a client 7 days ago. On the first day, they're like, "We're not seriously looking. We're just browsing around. We're not really going to buy anything." Last night, I just submitted an offer for them. Seen them 6 days in a row. So all that to say, like, it just takes it, like you suggested, it takes time, and it's not going to happen with everybody. Like, we're not going to build that with everybody, but just keep inserting your value. And I do it with indifference. Like, I'm telling these people, I don't care if you buy this house or the 20th house that you see. I just want to make sure that I get the job done that you're looking it done. But anyway, information working.
That's right. Listen, you guys, really, really good conversation. We'll dive more into these topics, but I want to share this information with you while it was hot off the press. You know, let's continue to build on this conversation in the coming weeks. So I appreciate everybody's contributions today. I thought today was a really, really good session. Thank you, Sarah, and for all of our other guests that are here today. And I appreciate you guys being students of growth. And that's what this is all about. Take one thing from this session that you can go and share with your consumers, share with other people. So I want to say thank you guys for everything. Thank you for being here. As always, keep it moving toward your dreams, goals, and vision, and have yourself an amazing Wednesday. Peace.